is in the air, and for many it's a time when thoughts turn to hula. That's because it's the season of the Merrie Monarch Hula Festival. Aloha, I'm Paula Akana, and welcome to Backstage at the Merrie Monarch. During this next hour, you'll meet several of the halau who will be taking part in this year's competition, from first-timers to familiar faces. But we begin by taking you to the island of Hawaii, on a journey many halau make when they come to the Merrie Monarch Festival to visit Halima'uma'u Crater, home to the fire goddess Pele.
We are at Halima'uma'u, and it's been a tradition of my kumus, and it's a tradition of my halau for us to come here to give a ho'okupu of our oli and our lei and our dances as part of the protocol that we follow, because this is kind of, you know, something that if you've never been to Halima'uma'u, then this is a really opportune moment for you folks, because you're coming not as a visitor, but you're coming as, in a sense, because we're Poe Hawaii, and you're coming to represent your halau, and there's all these cultural meanings to it. This is what we are supposed to do. We're supposed to come and see our kupuna and give them our aloha. Then we'll walk in quietly, focus ourselves. We're gonna walk quite a ways in past that lookout. So we'll end up on the lip on that side. Protocols. We'll dance first. We'll do our oli, we'll do our dances. We're oli out here first. Always to ask permission. Always to ask permission, because you don't just walk into somebody's house, yeah? When you get to somebody's house, we normally call out first before anything else. Leave all your fears and inhibitions here when you folks hula. Leave that here so you don't carry it with you anymore.
I can't imagine not coming to Merrie Monarch to you honor your kupuna and talk about Pele and Hi'iaka and so many different kupuna in your mele, and it's only in respect to them that you come and offer your ho'okupu or give your respect while you're here, just as a mahalo or just to show some sort of sign of respect to them.
We don't throw our lei into the crater. You give it, and you let the wind take it. Okay, so don't just fling your stuff in like that.
I think you know, the path is different for everyone in coming to Merrie Monarch, and everyone has their individual experiences that they come with and that they bring to when we come for our ho'okupu. So the reason why I'm in tears at the end of this is just because that I do this to honor my kupuna who passed away already, and just to show my appreciation and my love for them and just the people of Hawaii.
The wahine of Halau Hula Olana as they dance a mele written by and about Hawaii's ali'i.
Queen Kapu'anani wrote this chant for Kalakaua while he was away. And I just think of the queen. Even though the chant is written about the king, I always think of her poetry and her words because I knew that she missed him. And I knew that being here, the palace is so big. I'm sure that she found herself so lonely in all of those rooms. And when she thought of him, she really missed him.
In this chant, she's sending to him her words of encouragement and praising him, and yet intimately coding it with just nature, the romance of nature.
Kumuhula Olana Ai says it's important to bring her dancers to the grounds of Iolani Palace, home to the king and queen.
Actually, the purpose that King Kalakaua wanted this beautiful palace built was so that we would feel the feeling of a nation. And we don't come here often enough. And since we are doing chants for our ali'i again, we just felt that it was time again for all of us to come and to feel actually that they lived here and they walked here.
On this day, daughter Chelsea Apana chants, but come competition night, she'll join her sister Natalie dancing with the halau. Natalie takes an active role in Halau Hula Olana, and this year, Chelsea is stepping up her responsibilities.
Much better. Okay. I think growing up, I always just thought of myself as my mommy's little dancer, and I was just dancing. And you know, now that I'm a part of this group and I'm really, you know, taking charge and trying to help her more and, you know, be more like my sister, I find it more exciting. I find myself learning and growing and becoming more than just a dancer. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mom says the time is right.
In any classroom, the person that learns the most is the teacher. And so I could be hoggy. I could, you know, do it all. And I could just say, okay, you take out the rubbish and I'll do this. But no, it can't be that way. Her daughter is in the classroom, has been in the classroom every time she's taught. And that's the way Chelsea was when she was little. So to say that, you know, she's not ready is kind of silly of me. I need to step aside so that I can see when I'm alive and I'm, you know, still vital, that I can appreciate her and tell her the things that I enjoy seeing.
2, 3, forward.
We accompany Chelsea to another palace, Hanai'a Kamalama, the Queen Emma Summer Palace in Nu'uanu, where she brings Malia Marks, the Miss Aloha Hula contestant, for their halau.
Also, this year is my year to really help with Merrie Monarch. So I'm doing the training for Miss Aloha Hula, which is a very big eye-opener for me. I've been, you know, the Miss Hula contestant before, but to be on the opposite side trying to create something and make something appear in the judges' eyes is a lot more difficult, but I'm enjoying the challenge.
And as a teacher, Chelsea has firsthand Miss Aloha Hula experience. Chelsea has competed on the soloist stage for her halau. Malia has danced for Halau Hula Olana for 13 years and loves working with Chelsea.
Oh, it's so fun. I've grown up, in the halau, and I've always looked to Chelsea as a role model, and I've always looked up to her as a dancer. So being able to work with her and gain her knowledge is really special, and I really love it.
Malia dances for Queen Emma here at the Queen's home in Nu'uanu.
It's a Queen Emma chant, and what attracted me about the chant was that it mentioned Ka'ala. And growing up in Wahiawa, I have a very fond love for Ka'ala. So as I was reading through the chant, I just really fell in love with it. I fell in love with the poetry, the imagery, and the fact that it was about Queen Emma, and we've danced Queen Emma chants before, and I've loved her adventurous spirit. And so I really love my chant.
Well, Malia knows that she needs to give it her all. That's the most important thing. She wants to be able to know that she did everything that she possibly could to satisfy herself in her performance. The last thing she wants is to get off the stage and say, I didn't do this.
On this day of the huaka'i, or journey, the patriarch of the family, Howard Ai, is back teaching classes. He plays a pivotal role in the halau as choreographer, as well as designer of their costumes.
Me and my daddy are too funny together. So when we are working together to choreograph a chant, usually I'm saying, I want to do it this way. And he's saying, no, I think it should be this way instead. And we always collaborate and come out with something really good. So I think it's good. There's so much to learn from him. And even though it's, it says Howard and Olana Ai, and everybody just kind of thinks Howard's name is there, but his knowledge of the culture and, of this land is so wonderful, and he truly is a talented choreographer. I have to say, his ideas are sometimes off the wall, but I never think, oh, how can you come up with that, Dad? And he's like, well, just try it, and we always have fun together, so it's good.
The Ais are a hula ohana, and they wouldn't have it any other way.
1, 2, 3, 4. I think that being a part of a family halau is the only way to do it, because we all learn and we all grow from each other. And even though we have our little, tips here and there, I think it helps us to grow and it challenges us more. We have that family backup, and we have that love, and we share all of the same dislikes and likes, and we are able to show it in our hula and in our classes. So we always have good fun when we're all together. And if somebody's missing, then we know it, and we miss that person's extra spark that they bring.
We really do, and sometimes, in our home we have a house full of kumu. And you're always looking for the olapa. But, I think that's a natural consequence of allowing your child to develop leadership under this ohana tent, and just to know that they're deeply, sincerely rooted in it. And I think I cannot take credit for what is in them that they received from their ancestors. It's there, and I couldn't deny it.
That's Kamaka Kukona dancing in the 1997 Merrie Monarch Hula Festival with Hula Halau o Kamuela.
On that kahea, it's going to be ayala. Ewe, boom. I'm going to take out that nokahanu ala thing, exit. And it's not ayala, it's ayala. Okay, ayala.
10 years later, this is Kumuhula Kamaka Kukona getting his halau ready for the 2007 Merrie Monarch Festival. Kamaka is a young Kumuhula who got an early start in hula.
It's quite Hawaiian to just mimic what you see and what goes on in the household, in the Hawaiian household. I used to watch my aunt and my mother, and they were hula dancers. And before I could even put a name to a step, I was doing it. Watch the hands, some of us are doing some fancy things with our hands.
Kamaka danced with several Kumuhula. His formal training began with May Kamamalu Klein.
I had been hanai, if you would, by Kamamalu Klein, who is, in my eyes, our loea hula. She is a student of Maikiayu Lake, a graduate kumuhula and the first kokua kumu of Hala Hula o Maiki. She took me in when hula wasn't going so good for me, and I thought there were no doors that I could walk into. She took me in. She said, "Okay, come. You know, this is the time. Maybe try this. You know, it may not be for you. You may not want what I have to offer, but come. Yeah, okay, you can come." And I had seen myself through two uniki. The first being in 1999 as an olapa, a dancer, and graduating with the title of hopa as well, the chanter, a drummer. And I was 25 when I uniki as a kumuhula with all three titles, having attained all three titles under my belt.
Kamaka is an energetic young leader, a Kamehameha graduate. He credits the school with giving him confidence and composure. Here he is as song leader for his junior class in the 1995 Kamehameha School Song Contest.
Kamehameha has trained me to be stage ready. And if you're going to do something, you're going to go with, you know, you're going to go the whole 9 yards, you know, from soup to nuts, you're there.
It was at Kamehameha that Kamaka became friends with two other young Merrie Monarch kumuhula, Kaleo Trinidad and Snowbird Bento. In fact, he talks with Snowbird almost daily.
But we have that relationship where we can kind of exchange our stress, our drama from the students and who's not, you know, pulling their weight. And it's a growing process. And because she's sort of walked the road a little before I have, I kind of learned from her mistakes. There's an on the pole up, right here, one, up.
Kamaka lives on Maui and flies back and forth weekly to be with his Oahu halau. While hula is paramount in his life, he has another theatrical output as a dancer at Maui's Hula Lena.
I get to go out of the box at Hula Lena. Hula is hula, halau is halau. We stay in our parameters. We know how far we can go, how far we can't go.
On this day, Kamaka takes his halau outside to feel the elements.
The effect of the oli. This is a good chance because you're getting dead. It's just like you're fighting wind, so you got to oli louder. When you're in there, it's going to resound. So now we're at the choice location to do an ollie because you're fighting against the elements. So then you got to push harder. So when you push harder here, what's going to become natural is something that's going to go wow over there.
Kamaka comes from a non-competing halau, but as he prepares for his very first competition with the Merrie Monarch, he does so with his kumu's blessing. She gives him advice and costuming tips, and he feels comfortable about the hula they will present.
I think we're following the right path, and I think what we have to present follows the direction of what they were aiming for in not only the preservation of the dances and the culture, but to know that you can also be creative in the style that you were taught. And so to continue the creation process, using the materials that they've already handed down, also adds to the confidence that we're doing it, we're filling our kuleana.
Let it out slowly as needed.
The Miss Aloha Hula contestants are judged not only on their dancing, but their oli, or chanting as well. We sat in as Kumuhula Manu Boyd worked with his soloist, Bianca Ua'i Maikalani Mehula.
Knowing where you're at in the mo'olelo, knowing, because nobody else knows the mo'olelo out there, and unless you know it well enough on the inside and believe it and understand it, then you can accurately and in an entertaining way relate it to the audience. Otherwise, it's just going to be movement. Anybody can get up and go 1, 2, 3 and be pretty and make nice motions, but if you really want to be a convincing storyteller, a convincing performer, a convincing entertainer, and a convincing Hawaiian, then you have to go a step deeper. You got to really, really get into your mo'olelo. So work on overpowering me a little bit so that you can be heard. Because the chances can't be heard, then the story cannot be understood. Okay? So okawai halawi vai luala vai avili pu me ke kai ta'i ana I tamana o aloko I ta ho'ohihi a hihi mani. Okay, so that's a whole beautiful thought right there. That's the real old thought. Okay, and we're trying now to relate to this thought so that it becomes relevant today, and it is very relevant today. So you again taking it up to a higher pitch now, where you can feel a little bit more comfortable. I think that'll work better for you. So we'll go way up high, like. So that's your pitches over there. Try with me, ready, and. Okay, from there now when you take your breath in, take it all the way in and don't let it out so quickly. Hold it in and chant as if you're holding your breath and let the air come out little by little by little and not just
Ta'ianai tamana o aloko I ta hohi a hihi manu Manu ahi au hau na tapule na lui te ala vai hoia
au vale no I tau tala au I te ano pihana tala ni.
Too much ha'i in your voice. You don't have to ha'i every time. It's an embellishment, and once you get a more pa'apono, then you can really step back and say, how do I want to make these words sound more interesting, sound more intriguing to the listener.
Wahine of Na Hula o Ka'ohiku Kapulani as they prepare for the Merrie Monarch Hula Festival. For Kumuhula Kapu Kinimaka Alkiza, hula is her life. Like many dancers, hula came into her life early.
Well, I started dancing just around 4 years old, and my first kumuhula was Auntie Lavia Pana from Wailua, Kauai. And then we moved over to Anahola, and my parents brought us to Uncle Joe Kahaulilio. So Uncle Joe Kahaulilio was actually my last kumuhula here on Kauai until he moved over to California.
Later on, raising a family took priority, and it wasn't until her third daughter was born that she began to think about teaching hula, and thus her halau was born.
It started in 1984 when we first started the halau, and my daughter was 3. And I mainly started because I wanted her to be part of what I was, what I enjoyed when I was a young kid. And so I just actually wanted to work with her, and before you knew it, I told my neighbor, and my neighbor told her neighbor, and it just kind of grew from there in our car garage in Hanapepe. And I'm here today because it became part of my life.
Their dances this year honor Kauai. Here at the mouth of the Waimea River, they perform their kahiko, which they dance in honor of the late kumuhula Pohaku Nishimitsu.
Some years back, he allowed me to step into his life and shared a lot of knowledge. He shared a lot of knowledge with me, and this is one of the chants that he shared with me.
The mele honors Queen Kapi'olani, and it mentions many wahipana, or special places, like the waters of Waimea and the sands of Luhi.
I believe that the wahipanas are mentioned in chants because they have significant places where historical events were taking place in the mele. And so we try to break down the mele and look into the different place names that the mele is mentioning, and try to get a sense of what history was like back then. Even if we can't go there personally, but we try to make sure we can speak with the kupuna and other resources to help us to get a more clear imagery of those special places.
From Waimea to Polehale Beach for their hula awana, which was written by Kumuhula Kapu.
an experience that came when family all gathered together on a Labor Day weekend and spent nights and days here, just enjoying nature and enjoying the weather and fishing and picking up pihi and surfing and swimming and just having a good time. If the water comes, don't you dare run away from it now. If you're in that part of the song, you just take it, okay? Then you'll really have a true emotion. And a silk skirt. Yes, and a silk skirt. Having Nepali behind us, our ancestors that thrive in those caves, and believing to feel that they do watch us where we're at, and they do protect us. And in our song, I have a bit of that in the mele, which is expressing how our kupuna watches over us from the caves of Nepali. So I'm very comfortable with what Aku allows me to haku together for Kauai as well as our halau.
For this Kauai halau, traveling to Hawaii Island for the Merrie Monarch takes a lot of time and preparation, but Kapu sees it as a priceless experience.
The growing experience is basically what gives us the drive to continue to participate in the Merrie Monarch Festival. We do all kinds of stuff based on the mele that we choose and try to understand the history of the meles that we decide to dance and try to get ourselves back into that time and frame of the mele. So we discover new information about history and our ancestors and the island, different the Wahipanan place names. And so those are just a few things that we gain as we move along in each year of participating in Merrie Monarch. And that we can't do every single time in class because we enjoy our hula kahiko, we enjoy our hula awana, but we are also halau that participates in other cultural dances as well.
Honoring Hawaii's heritage. Watch the Merrie Monarch Festival starting April 12th live at 6 p.m. only on KITV4, Island Television.
Left, right, left. There you go. Okay, good. Just got to make sure on the water, your hands are moving together. Some of you were lined up crooked, okay? Kapua Deliri Moy, getting her halau ready for their first appearance at the Merrie Monarch Festival. A first for her halau, but not for Kapua. She has danced many years at the Merrie Monarch. She's the daughter of Kumuhula Aloha Deliri, and Kapua herself was Miss Aloha Hula 1991. We're excited, but yeah, nervous because, you know, it's Merrie Monarch. Everybody is waiting for Merrie Monarch. And then for me, you know, my mother and her halau will be there as well. They've gone every year almost since I can remember. Everybody's body is leaning different. Side back now, you gotta lean on your wind, okay? And hold your chin up. I feel like I have some big shoes to fill, you know, being that I come from a family who have 3 Miss Aloha Hulas, whose mother was the first Miss Aloha Hula, and just trying to follow in those footsteps and make sure that what we present
on stage that night, you know, is pleasing to not only her, but everybody else who's there to support us. O puka e kala makahikina me ka hua ka ihele no kumukahi haamaina iwa me hiaka me ka pola ka ika ue hive hine e maina iwa maku ualo me ke alo kapu o ke iwa iwa o ino e ke kapu me na ali e ola mako a maulo ala hae.
After waiting for more than 4 years, the halau was invited, and then the real excitement began.
Right after we got invited to Merrie Monarch, I found out I was pregnant. So my first question to my doctor was, when is my due date? So luckily she's here. She was born March 9th, and that left me about 4 weeks to get the women, you know, fine-tuned so that we can board the plane and get to Hilo.
Baby joins Kapua and her other children at hula practice, living up to her name, Malie, calm. It is a hula family, with husband Tino shown here helping out.
Training the men, for me, I've been fortunate as well. My husband played a big role in that. I mean, I did a lot of the beats and the choreography along with him, but he conducted a lot of the classes so that, you know, they have that more masculine type of training done.
The halau will dance Kawa'i Mele. The men's mele speaks of Chief Mo'ikeha. You hear so many legends about Kamehameha and I don't know, all the other ali'i, but in doing research of the Chief Mo'ikeha, it talks about how he did a voyage on his canoe and how he discovered Kauai. And prior to approaching land, one of his kahunas, so to speak, that was on board with him, chanted the oli that the men will be performing as well, Eia Hawaii. Iwalea anai ka lalo ka paai ke ka huli ake ka lukalu ka lohi ana pau ka lau ke kukui e ia au ka ili lau ke koa e Iwalea anai ka lalo ka paai ke ka huli ake ka lukalu ka lohi ana pau ka lau ke kukui e ia au ka ili lau ke koa e Ike one kania ono hili. Ike one kania ono hili. The women dance a hula noho, or seated hula. Not an easy dance.
A hula noho is always pleasing to the eye and it looks nice and fresh. But for the women, they found that it was going to be a challenge because a lot of them haven't really done a noho before. So in preparation for it, the exercise and the maintaining their level sitting, you know, on the floor, they found out that it's kind of strenuous and it's not that all fun to keep having to drill it over and over and over. I think a lot of it is the knowing where to position your weight on top of your feet when your feet are flat on the floor, and then a lot of the up-down motions, you know, kind of get to your knees. But the hardest challenge they had to overcome was standing up after that and actually dancing off the stage. Pa iho kamakani la he kiu. Pa iho kamakani la he kiu. Pa iho kamakani la he kiu.
Kapua says she does see a little of her mother in her teachings, but hopes to stand out in her first Merrie Monarch appearance as Kumuhula.
I try to be creative on my own, but a lot of the traditional stuff that was instilled in me is still there. So you'll see it, and I'm sure people will recognize that we kind of look, our girls kind of look alike in a lot of aspects. So I hope that I do my job well and that people will know where my lineage came from and where my family is from and where our traditions with hula come from.
This year, we lost several people with significant ties to the Merrie Monarch Festival. I've had the honor of spending time with each of them in past Backstage shows. Tonight, we share with you snippets of the stories of these very special people. They will be missed. Uncle George began dancing for Tom Hiona in the late 1940s.
It started off with about 12 men just chanting, learning to play the ipu and learning the dances. And then from then on, this went on and on.
After taking a break, he has returned to teaching with a weekly class where many of the students are kumuhula themselves.
So when the class started to come, the students started to come, I said, oh no, these are kumuhulas. Oh no, they're alakais. I said, oh no, 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 no. She says, Uncle, they all want to learn from you. They want to learn your style.
She was a mainstay at the Merrie Monarch Festival, Kumuhula Nina Maxwell from Pukalani Hula Hale. She preferred to stay behind the scenes on our hula journeys, like this one that took us to Haleakala. A chill is in the air as Angela Leva begins to dance at Haleakala. Leva is a dancer with the Pukalani Hula Hale, and when she takes the stage for the Miss Aloha Hula competition, she will honor Maui and Haleakala.
My chant, E Pu'upu Kano Ya Poliahu, was written by my kumu's husband, Uncle Charlie, and it speaks of Poliahu, the goddess of snow, Pele's sister, and her adornments when she comes to Maui.
We caught up with John Kaimikawa in 1993.
Hula to me is very sacred. The hula to me, the ancient dance, is the spiritual link that we have to our ancestors. When ancient dance is performed, the chanting, the drumming, those who are listening, they cannot help but takes themselves back into the ancient days. They can feel their ancestors, they can feel those things. And just those moments that the dance is being performed, that is why it's so special. That is why it's so important for us Hawaiians to have the dance, because it makes us remember who we are and who our ancestors were.
This is Ho'ona, a slice of old Hawaii, located along the Kona coastline of the Big Island. A member of a family that was removed from this property during the war has returned to restore what once was home. Among those helping in the restoration, Ku Kanaka Kaua o Kona, a kane halau headed by Kumuhula J.J. Akiona.
Ho'ona has been a blessing for the halau since I moved down here with my kāko'o and my po'opua kamakele, and in learning how to take care of the land has helped us in a newer dimension and level how to take care of our people.
The men of his halau have faced many trials throughout their young lives and say hula has helped them find direction. Akiona welcomes them in and doesn't charge for his teaching.
Because I think hula is something that has been lived and learned. You can learn a lot through basics. So we take in a lot of broken homes, drug problems, alcohol problems, and come together and work. And with the hamana that I have today, the job that I carry today helps me use hula as a tool to heal.
Thanks for joining us. The Merrie Monarch Festival is truly an event not to be missed. If you can't be there in person, then tune in to KITV Island Television's coverage of the Merrie Monarch Festival this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, beginning at 6 o'clock. We will also have live streaming video on our website, thehawaiichannel.com. So you have no excuse. Enjoy the hula. Until next time, aloha.